Welcome students to a new series on Mrs.Biology. Today we will solve IGCSE Biology past papers, as this allows many more students to benefit from these videos. Today's paper will be the extended paper 2, variant 2, May-June 2020. And remember to make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to receive new videos like this one from Mrs.Biology. Let's begin. Hi guys, today we will be doing paper 2, variant 2, May-June 2020 for MCQ questions. So let's scroll down to start with the first question. Okay, let's start with the first question. Now, the diagram shows what happened in an experiment with the plant seedlings. Which characteristic of living things made the seedlings grow towards the light? As we see, we have the source of light only from this direction, and all the plants bended toward the light. Very simple and easy. This is because of auxin hormone, and once we are talking about the response of hormone, that means we are talking about the sensitivity. How that happens? Auxin hormone dislikes the light and it will accumulate at the shaded area, and the impact of hormone auxin will elongate the cells. So by default the plant will bend toward the light. So the right answer here is what? D. Moving to question number 2. Here you go. A rat has a scientific name, rat stratus, as we see here in italic way, and the first letter is capital and the second is small because this is related to the binomial naming. What do the two parts of this name refer to? A, genus and species. B, kingdom and genus. C, kingdom and species. D, variety and genus. Guys, it's a very simple question about the taxonomy. Let me take you to this diagram. As you see, this is the taxonomy, and you should know that we should use the genus and species. So going back to the question, we should circle what? A is the answer. Let's move to question number 3. Here you go. The diagram shows a plant cell. A biologist wants to find out the number of chromosomes it contains. Which labeled part should be examined more closely? Without thinking, we all the time think chromosome home is what? The nucleus. Okay, and he mentioned one information to help you. Some students will think, okay, it's the big organelle and in the center maybe of the cell. So maybe they have a mistake and look for whom? For B, which is wrong. Why? He mentioned it's a plant cell, and the plant cell, they have a big central vacuole. This is the big central vacuole. So the right answer here is what? Is A. The chromosomes will be located in the nucleus. Okay, let's do question number 4 right now. Now, the diagram shows a human liver cell. The length of structure M on the diagram is 6 millimeter. The magnification of the diagram is 2000x. What is the actual length of M? I mean, this is structure. So, this is a simple math. Just to remind you that the magnification equals the image divided by the actual image. And here we are looking for the actual. So, actual equals the image divided by the magnification. As simple as that. There's a point, please take care of it. We need to change and to convert the unit. We have the image by its millimeter, so we want to change it to micrometer. That means I have to multiply it by 1000. So 1000 divided by 2000. Okay, step by step. So the right answer here will be 3 micrometer. So I have to circle B. So B is the right answer. Move to question number 5. Okay. Which diagram shows the appearance of a plant cell several minutes after it has been what? Placed in a concentrated solution. This is a good point to think about it. Concentrated solution of sugar. What does that mean? It's a place in a hypertonic solution. Okay, let me just take you for this diagram to remind you. As you see this, we have hypertonic solution, isotonic, and hypotonic. Our case in hypertonic, I mean the water potential outside is very low. So the water potential inside the cell, regardless I'm talking about which cell, will be from the cell to the medium or to the solution. Going back here, let's apply it. If we look first of all at B, sure it's wrong answer because where is the central vacuole? Missed. If we look at the D, also it's wrong. Why? Because we have several central vacuoles and that's wrong. Now we have A and C. If you just look at the C, you will find the central vacuole not affected. Even it's already filled with water and minerals, which is wrong. This is not in hypotonic, this is in hypertonic because the water must leave the cell. So we should think directly that the answer is A. As you see, the central vacuole shrink, becomes smaller, and even the cell membrane, as you see, shrink in this case. So that's because of what? The water left the cell and goes outside. The water potential inside the plant cell here is greater than the water potential. So by osmosis, it will leave the cell. The right answer now here is what? Is A. Okay. Let's do question number 6. An uncooked piece of potato was placed in a solution. After 2 hours, the size of the piece of potato had decreased. This is a very important point. Okay, which row explains why this has happened and how the potato cells have changed? Now, the same idea of a previous question, water potential, placed in a hypertonic solution. Once they mentioned that the size of this potato decreased. So in order to cut it short and not to waste the time in just reading all options, I have to exclude B and D because once it's turgid, that means the water will move from out to in, which is wrong because the water potential inside the cell of potato is greater than outside. So the direction of water will be from the cell to outside. Okay, so I have A and C. Let's read them. Potato cells water potential is higher, that's right. And the external solution in the water is lower, and that's perfect. So it will become flaccid, and that's right. So it should be option A. But let's read option C. The water potential inside the potato cell is lower, so this is wrong. No need to continue with this. So directly I will circle option A. Let's move to question number 7. Okay, the diagram shows a section of DNA with 4 bases identified on one strand. That's clear. Okay, which sequence of bases would be on the other strand starting from the top? Very simple and easy. This is the complementary. Come on. Guanine all the time with cytosine, adenine with thymine, cytosine with guanine, and thymine with adenine. So CTGA, that means the right answer here is B. Perfect. Move on. Question number 8. Which food testing solution shows a positive result when it turns from blue to purple? This is what? Biuret solution. Guys, this must be one of main concepts of food testing. Let me just remind you by the this diagram. This is a test for protein. Okay? Keep this in your mind. Yes, it will change from blue. Blue means it's negative. Purple means it's a positive. That means we have a protein. So going back directly without thinking, we will what? Circle option B. Let's do question number 9. The diagram shows the 4 types of a human tooth: incisor, canine, premolar, and molar. Which teeth are used for grinding food? Very simple and basic information. For incisor and canine, sure, they're for bite and cutting food. So we have to think about premolar and molar. The right answer quickly, circle please, C. Let's move to question number 10. Enzymes function best at their optimum temperature. Sure, perfect. This is the temperature where the enzyme will perform in a good way. Which statement describes the effect on an enzyme of increasing the temperature to the enzyme's optimum temperature? Let's read the options. A. There are more frequent successful collagens. Yes, that's right. The collagens will increase at this temperature. That means the enzyme preferred this condition. B. The kinetic or kinetic energy of the enzymes decrease. This is very wrong. Why? Because kinetic energy will increase, not decrease. So B is wrong. C. The enzymes begin to lose their complementary shape, and that's against what we are looking for. It's the optimum. That means it's a good condition. So C also is wrong. D. The rate at which enzyme substrate complexes form is reduced. Again, this is wrong. It should be increased. So the right answer here is what is A. Okay, now let's do question number 11. The diagram shows how the rate of photosynthesis varies with light intensity. The four curves show different conditions of temperature and carbon dioxide concentration. That's clear. We have these four curves. Now, let me just scroll it up to see the options. What limits the rate of photosynthesis at point P? Okay. Now, we have the light intensity, we have the carbon dioxide concentration, and the temperature. Let's start with the temperature. If we just want to focus here, we have 20 Celsius degree and here 30 Celsius, so it will be affected with temperature. So we are looking for temperature as a limit factor. This is first. Now let's move to the concentration of carbon dioxide. Let me compare. Here we have 0.1%, the concentration. Here the same, but the temperature changed. Here we increased the concentration of carbon dioxide with the same temperature. Despite this, it's increasing. Okay, it's increasing. So we have the temperature and the carbon dioxide concentration. We can consider them as limit factors. Okay, regarding the light intensity, as we can see, it's constant for all. So the choice here that we should choose it is C. Okay, carbon dioxide concentration and temperature. Let's move down to question number 12. It seems that it's an easy question. The diagram shows a plant cell. That's clear. Okay, in which part of the cell does photosynthesis occur? Yes, we all know that it happens inside the chloroplast. The dense one, this is the nucleus. This is the central vacuole. So the distributed one, what we see around the cell, is the chloroplast. So the right answer here is D. Okay, let's do now this question. The graph shows the effect of pH on the activity of an enzyme. It seems that the optimum pH around 2. Now, in which part of the alimentary canal would the enzyme be most active? Larger intestine, mouth, small intestine, or stomach? This is very simple and easy. Let me just scroll it up a little bit. Okay, well, it's very clear we are talking about the optimum pH. It's 2, so it's a stomach. Why I'm choosing a stomach? Because the pH in stomach is 2, large and the small intestine is slightly alkaline, between 7.5 till 8. Inside the mouth, it's around 6.8 to 7. So the right answer is the stomach. Let's move to question number 14. The diagram shows the structure of a villus, as it's clear here. The arteriole here, capillaries in between, lectule, this one, the white one, and the venule here. Okay, labeled with letters. Which letter shows where nutrients are absorbed into the blood? So it's very easy because we know that capillary will exchange the gases, the nutrients, and all that stuff. One thin layer of cells. So the right answer here should be B. Okay? Okay, let's do question number 15. Which change increases the rate of water uptake by the roots of a plant? A. Decrease in evaporation of water from mesophyll cells. What's the relation between the evaporation and the root? So it's not A. B, decrease in length of root hairs, also no relation. We have short root hairs, we have long root hairs, but the mechanism of osmosis stayed the same. So let's move to C. Decrease in water potential of root hair cells. That makes sense. Once the water potential inside the root hair cells decreased, so the water potential outside the root hair cells, I mean the soil, it's already high, so the water will move from outside, I mean the soil, to the root hair, which makes sense to say this is the right answer, but let's read D also. Decrease in water potential of soil water. Sure, now this is the opposite. Then the water will start leaving the root hair. So the right answer for 15 is C. Let's move to question number 16. Dodder is a plant that grows on other plants called the hosts. The dodder plant connects to the host vascular bundles. What do you mean by vascular bundles here? To remind you, the phloem and xylem that carries the nutrients, minerals, and water. The dodder plant does not have green leaves or roots. That makes sense because they depend on the host. What correctly describes the regions for translocation? Now, once they don't have green leaves or roots and already connected with vascular bundles, so the host leaves will be what? The source. I have, to exclude A and B. I have to exclude A and B because, sure, they will not be the sink. So I'm focusing with C and D. So once the host leaf is the source, who is the sink? The dodder. This one. Source and source. So the right answer here is what? Is C. That's good. Let's move to question 17. Here we go. Okay, the diagram show the single circulation of a fish, this one, and the double circulation of a mammal, this one. Now, which letters represent areas of oxygenated blood? Hold on. Oxygenated blood, very simple and easy. That will come from the lungs in mammals. They are here lung capillaries, so it's Y here, if I'm not mistaken, and with the fish from the gill capillaries. So here it's also S, Y and S. Let's see if we have these options. Go down, which letters represent areas? S and Y, I think, yeah, this one. So the right answer is B here. Let's do question number 18. The diagram shows the human heart and main blood vessels as we see. Okay, what is the question? What is the blood vessels labeled? X. Here, X. So this is connecting from lungs to the left atrium. Sure, this is the pulmonary vein. Okay, that will carry the oxygenated. It's not like any normal vein. Directly, in order not to waste the time. Sure, it's not the aorta or the pulmonary artery or the vena cava. No, it's pulmonary vein. That's right. Yeah, let's move to question number 19. The following are statements about immunity. Okay, the first statement, the transfer of antibodies from mother to baby and breast milk is an example of passive immunity. That's right, passive, that means my body as a baby not doing any job, directly receive the antibodies ready. So one is 100% right. B or 2, sorry. Passive immunity results in long-term immunity because of what? Of the production of memory cells. Come on, in passive immunity there is no memory cells. I'm sorry, this is wrong. Because memory cells, that means my body do active immunity, do something, I mean against the germs or vaccines, so my body build the memory cells. So 2 is wrong. Moving to 3, active immunity is gained after vaccination, and that's right. Yes, when we receive the vaccine, our white blood cells start building the antibodies, I mean the B cells. Okay, so this is active immunity, so we can say 1 and 3 are right. Which option? Yeah, it is C. So the right option here is C. Okay, let's do now question number 20. What is the site of gas exchange? Sure, it's not the nose. Yes, it's the alveoli. Sure, that it's already covered by the capillaries, bronchus, or trachea. No, this is the air pathways only. Simple and easy, no need to take too much time from you while you are answering. Question number 21. The substances listed are associated with aerobic respiration or aerobic respiration. Now, sure, carbon dioxide, glucose, oxygen, and water. Which substances are the products of aerobic respiration? Simple and basic. You are talking about carbon dioxide and water. In order just to remind you by the equation, okay, here you go. We can see, as you see, the glucose and oxygen are the reactants, and sure, the carbon dioxide and the water are the products. So the right answer here is 1 and 4, which is the B answer. Now, let's move to question number 22. 22 is talking about the formula C2H5OH represents a chemical produced during anaerobic respiration. See, they gave you 2 hints that it's anaerobic, and they gave you the formula with OH. What is the chemical? First of all, OH means alcohol. This is ethanol actually, and it's anaerobic. That means we are in anaerobic respiration, we have the fermentation, alcoholic fermentation. So directly guys, circle A. Moving to question number 23. What is filtered out of the blood in the glomerulus into the kidney tubule? Glomerulus, sure, to the kidney will both take glucose and urea. Glucose and urea, but sure, it's not a protein, but they did not mention protein here. So directly we'll go with which option? A. Guys, I'm not in this speed because I want to finish quickly, because you have a limited time, and such questions are really direct questions. I want you to make sure to have this self-confidence to finish on time and before the limited time that you have. Okay, so by this way we finish question number 23. Okay, let's do question number 24. Which responses occur in the iris of the eye when a person walks from a brightly lit area to a dimly lit area? Great, we are looking for these 2 muscles, the circular and radial. Okay, let me take you for this diagram to make it easy. Once we are moving to dimly lit area, that means we need to make our pupil wider. So what will happen with the circular muscle? It will relax to make this area bigger, to collect more light. And what will happen with the radial muscle? It will contract. Sure, this will relax the circular and the radial will contract. Let's go and see our options. So the circular will relax, this one, and the radial will contract. So the right answer here is what? C. Let's move to question number 25. Which glands are endocrine glands, or endocrine? You can pronounce it in 2 ways. Let's read the options. Adrenal, this is endocrine. Pancreas, sure, endocrine. And testes, also endocrine. But let's read the rest in order to make sure that our option A is right. Adrenal, ovaries, salivary. Salivary, it's excretion outside, so it's not endocrine. C, ovaries, sweat, testes. Sweat also what? Outside the body, so it's excretion, exocrine, not endocrine. D, pancreas, salivary, and sweat. In this case, so A is the right answer. Move to 26. What are the effects of insulin and adrenaline on the concentration of blood glucose? Very simple question. Effect of insulin on the blood glucose concentration, you know, this is basic information that the insulin will decrease the amount of sugar. So please, you have to learn the skills of excluding answers. Okay, that will help you a lot and save your time. So it will decrease. So directly C and D are wrong answers. So I have only now 2 options to think about it. So insulin will decrease. What about adrenaline? Adrenaline, it's fight or flight. What does that mean? We need more energy. That means we are doing more cell respiration. That means we are consuming more sugar. So amount of sugar inside the blood will increase. So the right answer, it should be here. Decrease with insulin, increase with adrenaline. That means it's B. Let's move to question number 27. Asexual reproduction can be used to produce crops. Great. Why might a disease be likely to spread throughout the whole crop? Asexual? Okay, that means we don't have 2 parents. That means the same characteristics will be passed. A, Crop plants are genetically different. That's wrong. This is wrong. Sure. Crop plants are genetically identical. Perfect. This is the right answer. But the rest, many offspring are produced. It's not related. Offspring are produced quickly. Also, it's not related to our point. So the right answer here is B. Let's do now question number 28. In a comparison between the processes of artificial insemination and in vitro fertilization, which statement applies to in vitro fertilization? I mean IVF only. Okay, IVF, just to summarize it. Artificial insemination, yes, the doctor will inject the sperm inside the female body. Okay, but the IVF, the fertilization process, all happens outside the body. Okay, so let's read the options. A, human egg cells are harvested from the ovary, and that's right, that applies only on IVF. But let's continue the rest. B, donated sperm cells are used to fertilize the egg cells. No, as I mentioned, this is artificial insemination. Or maybe we can consider it as both, but it's not only for IVF. C, childless couples are given the opportunity to have a child of their own. It's not related. D, fertilization occurs inside the body of the female. This is AI, artificial insemination. So the only option only applies for IVF is what? Is option A. Let's move to question number 29. The diagram shows half a flower. There is a description of each numbered part. Let's read together. 1. The stigma, which receives pollen from insects. That's right. Here you go. This is the stigma. Okay. The anther, which produces smooth and light pollen grains. Also, this is right. This is the anther. And the ovule here, where fertilization occurs when the male and female nuclei fuse. That's right. Now, let's read the question. Which descriptions are correct for an insect-pollinated flower? Insect-pollinated flower means we will not use the anther. Anther, this one, if it will pollinate the stigma, I mean the ovule, the egg will receive it, the pollen grain. This will be self-fertilization, but they are looking for insect-pollinated. So we will go with number 1, okay, and number 3. That will apply. So where is 1 and 3? It's option B. So the right answer here is B. Let's move to question 30. What is a diploid nucleus? Diploid means 2 sets, 2N. Fine. A nucleus containing 1 set of a chromosome. Sure, it's wrong. B, a nucleus containing 2 sets of chromosome. This is perfect. I will circle it because I'm pretty sure this is the right answer. A nucleus with 1 double helix of DNA, that means 1 set. That's wrong. A nucleus with 2 genes. This is even a wrong statement. So the right answer for question number 30 is B. Question number 31. Now, which statement about meiosis is correct? A, at the end of meiosis, a zygote has been produced. This is wrong. This is fertilization process. Wrong. B, during meiosis, the haploid number is halved in the daughter cells. Come on. How many times? Let me just show you this diagram that will help us in deciding what we are looking for. As you see, we have meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. These are the parent cell and these are the daughter cells. So they have 1 set, half number. Okay, going back to the question. So B is wrong. C, the meiosis is reduction division in which diploid daughter cells are produced. The first part statement is right. The second, sure, it's wrong. D, the parent cell contains twice as many chromosomes as each daughter cell. So this is the right answer. Moving to question number 32. The diagram shows the inheritance of height in pea plants. As we see here, the parent, homozygous dominant, tall plant parent, T capital, dwarf parent plant. This is the recessive, T small. So we receive the offspring heterozygous, but sure, the phenotype is dominant, tall. Which plants have heterozygous genotypes? It's easy. The offspring, both parent plants. This is wrong. Dwarf parent plant. This is another mistake. Both offspring. So this is the right answer. No need even to read option D. This is very clear. Moving to question number 33. The graph shows the masses of two different types of tomato, type 1 and type 2. Okay, this is great. What can be concluded from the graph? A. Genes do not affect the mass of tomatoes. This statement is wrong, and even that, the graph is not showing. Once he asking me from a graph, so I have to look at the graph itself. So my information should come from the graph. So A is wrong. B. Type A tomato, this one, tomatoes, show continuous variation. That's clear. Yes, we have, as you see, changing all the time. There is no discontinuation. So I think B is the right answer, but let's read the rest. Type 2 tomatoes are sometimes smaller than type A tomatoes. This is wrong. Come on. The smallest, okay, or from tomato type 2 is greater than type 1. So C is wrong. Type 2 tomatoes show discontinuous variation. Come on. It's showing also continuous. So as I mentioned, okay, the right answer here is what? Is B. Let's do question number 34. Which adaptation may be present in a xerophyte? What is a xerophyte plant? Xerophyte plant, the plants that use a little amount of water, mostly the desert plants like cactus. Let's read. Leaves with a small surface area and large numbers of stomata. Large number of stomata, that means evaporation of water will increase. That's wrong. B. Little or no xylem tissue and leaves with large surface area. Large surface area again will increase the evaporation, and we don't have xylem. How come? This is wrong. C. Stomatal hairs and rolled leaves. That's right. That's 100% right. Because stomatal hairs will minimize the transpiration and the amount of evaporation of water with the rolled leaves. Let's read D also. Thin or no cuticle and deep roots. Come on, a cuticle is to prevent or to minimize. This is the wax layer on the top of epidermis, to minimize amount of water transpiration and evaporation. So the right answer is C. Let's move to question number 35. The diagram shows a food chain in a rock pool. Seaweed, whelks, crabs, seagulls. Okay. What will happen if the number of secondary consumers increases? First of all, there will be what? Listen, seaweed are the producers. Okay. Whelks, the first consumer. Crabs, the second consumer. Seagulls, the third consumer. Fine. So he's talking about the crabs. If the number of the secondary consumer increases, what will happen? The crabs feeds on what? On whelks. So the number of whelks will decrease. As simple as that. So fewer crabs, sure not. This is against even the information. Fewer seagulls, no, because the crabs number will increase. So the source of their food will increase. Okay, that's wrong. C, fewer whelks, that makes sense. So this is the right answer. Less seaweed, not related, because when we have a fewer whelks, the seaweed will increase. So the right answer, sure, it is C. Let's move to question number 36. What is defined as all of the populations in different species in an ecosystem? This is as simple as that, the definition of whom? Community. Okay, it's not the environment, it's not the habitat where the organisms live, it's not the trophic level, the position for any organism according to its energy and their type of food, and depends on other organisms. So it's A, it's the community. Question number 37. What is the role of anaerobic respiration in bread making? Anaerobic respiration in bread making, it's alcoholic respiration. Okay, we have, alcoholic fermentation, we have alcoholic and lactic acid. A, to produce alcohol to flavor the bread, sure not, because alcohol will evaporate, so A is wrong. B, to produce gas to make the bread rise, that's right, 100%, will puff the dough. To release enough energy to bake the bread, no need. The energy that we are using inside the oven, not related. D, to release enough lactic acid to kill the yeast. Come on, lactic acid fermentation, something else totally different that happens in the mammal's muscle. Okay, so the right answer here is what? is B. Moving to question number 38. A crop plant has been genetically modified to make it resistant to herbicides. Great. Which is a possible disadvantage, take care, it's not advantage, of introducing this new crop plant? A. Loss of weeds, reduce competition. This is right. This is an advantage, but he is looking for what? For a disadvantage. Some weeds might become resistant to the herbicide. Yes, that may happen by the natural selection sometimes. So I will circle it till I continue the rest. Okay, the crop plant is unharmed and produces a higher yield. That's right. This statement is right, but it's not a disadvantage. D, the new gene will appear in new generations of the crop. Also, this is not a disadvantage. It's an advantage. That's what we look for. So a possible disadvantage only who? Option B. Move to the last two questions and answer them. 39. Which is a reason for using bacteria in biotechnology? A. Bacteria are found inside the human body, inside and outside. What's the benefit of that? We are using the bacteria. Okay, it's not a strong answer actually. B. Bacteria do not become resistant to antibiotics. This is a wrong statement. They do this. Okay. C. Bacteria can make complex molecules. This is right 100%. And we get benefit from that. But let's read also D. Bacteria reproduce slowly. Come on. This is wrong 100%. By binary fission, it's very fast. So the right answer for question number 39 is C. Let's move to question 40. When a river is polluted by fertilizer, the following processes may occur. Let's read them. 1. Increased aerobic respiration of decomposers. 2. Increase the growth of producers. 3. Decrease oxygen concentration in the water. What is the correct sequence for these processes? Actually, this is eutrophication. Very simple, like the growth of algae. Okay. Now, the correct sequence, sure, we have to start with the producers. As I mentioned, like algae. So we will start by which number? Number 2. Again, the skills of excluding. Answers, I will exclude directly A and B. Now I have only C and D. Now, what comes after having a huge number or the growth of producers? Who will use them? The decomposers here, increased aerobic respiration. Because of this happening, aerobic respiration, that will consume what? The oxygen. So 2, 1, and 3. 2, 1, and 3, not D. So the right answer here is what? The right sequence is C. Thank you. We have now finished this paper. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you can receive the next IGCSE video from Mrs. Biology. And if you have any queries, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching.